Working with DLA approved source suppliers can be a real problem if you don't know what you're doing. You call, you email the suppliers, specifically the approved sources that they give you. It takes forever for someone to get back to you or even send you a response to let you know that they got your email or your voicemail. When you speak with them, they appear to be not so interested. They sometimes make you feel like you're interrupting them or bothering them if you do happen to get them on the phone. It feels like you are pulling teeth when you contact them just to get them to do business with you, to give them some business, in fact. No matter how many suppliers you contact, sometimes you feel like no one is out there willing to help you. No one is responding. And when they do respond, it's not fast enough. When they finally give you a quote, it feels like they don't want you to do business with them. The pricing is sometimes awful. So these types of interactions can be very painful and they can hurt your confidence. But I'm here to tell you exactly what to do because I believe in what we're doing. I believe that you need to have your confidence built before you start talking with and trying to work with these suppliers. So in this video, I teach you and demonstrate for you how to secure and work with true approved source suppliers to win DLA contracts. But in the beginning, you have to be very specific and very strategic. So if you do what I say within the 15 to 30 days, you will win. But many of you get stuck on the true approved source supplier situation. So today, I will make sure that by the time that you leave this video, you understand the strategic steps you need to take to ensure that you're working with the right approved sources to win your first contracts. When I set out to help the veterans learn to win DLA contracts, the same exact thing happened to me, even with my government contracting experience. I was so upset about how suppliers were treating the veterans, and then I experienced it myself. So I get it. And once I began winning and I figured out the system, I literally decided, what would I do if I could do things over what would make it easier for me to work with suppliers? I built the hot list. We won't talk a lot about this today, but the hot list was designed specifically for this reason. I created the hot list to identify suppliers that would work directly with my proteges in my community, and it worked. But the catch is you're not allowed to use my hot list until you learn the process. I don't want you to skip over the process. I want you to learn the truth about how to win. Then you can use the hot list as a tool to move faster to win. So here's what you must understand about DLA approved source suppliers. Number one, understand how the product supplier market works, the hierarchy. There is in every market, every industry, a way that these people do things, and suppliers are no different. We're going to talk a little more in detail about that. You must understand who's supplying the product and at what level. You must understand why some suppliers may not want to sell to you. You must understand and realize you may need to go through a few suppliers before you get to the right one. And number five, you must be willing to walk away from suppliers that appear questionable. So what is an approved source for DLA? An approved source is a supplier that has provided the exact product to DLA, the product that DLA would like to purchase. And why is that important? Because you need to understand you cannot just approach DLA wanting to sell them an alternative product. That's a different process. So don't think that you can bid on a contract and just put in a different part number and you're going to win. Your bid will not even count. So keep it in mind. You must first start out with the exact product, the right part number. Part number is key. DLA approved sources come in different types. Remember, I mentioned the hierarchy? This is the hierarchy. You have the manufacturer at the top. Why are they at the top? Because they make the product. They are often called OEMs. Okay. They don't sell to DLA much. Mostly, they would rather sell to contractors and distributors like you and have you sell to the government. They can be contractors sometimes, but in many cases, they are not in the marketplace selling directly to the government, at least for DLA. Distributors for original equipment manufacturers, they are the ones that play a big role in the DLA market space. So distributors are distributors for specific parts with specific manufacturers. That means that they could sell to other resellers that may or may not be in the DLA market, other contractors. They can also themselves be a contractor because, as I stated, they play a big role in the DLA market and they sometimes will compete against you. You may sometimes wonder, how did that contractor get a better price than me? Well, we'll get into that. But this video is specifically to help you understand who you should work with and who you should not work with, and how to get a successful DLA approved source partner to help you win. 3 reasons why suppliers won't sell to you. Type 1 supplier. They are a contractor themselves. They're already winning. They don't need you. Number 2, this is the type that is also a distributor. You need to make sure they are not competing or bidding against you. You guys know I don't like that word competition. It's the C word. I don't like the word competition because I believe there is always a new or different strategy. When you follow a strategy that works, which is what I'm talking to you about today, you eliminate competition. You do things differently. So the type 2 distributor supplier works directly with the manufacturer, and they, in many cases, have a scarcity mentality, and they don't want to create competition. There's that C word again. Lastly, we have the manufacturer supplier, meaning they could also be a contractor, as I mentioned earlier, but they'd rather sell to the distributor and have the distributor sell to you and another reseller. This is the type 3. Why would they do that? Because they only want to sell to their distributor network. They don't want anyone else in there. But if you want to become a distributor, you need to demonstrate that you can sell their products at a certain level, the beginning level. That's how you become a distributor. That's another video. Now, approved sources are listed because they won previous contracts for a specific part number. 2 out of 10 suppliers will work with you, meaning, as one of my superstars, Gordon, says, you have to kiss a lot of frogs sometimes to get the right approved source supplier. The goal for you is to find approved sources that can provide the exact part, not an alternate part, the exact part. And sometimes those parts no longer exist. There's a strategy for that as well. Those that are in my program, they know what that strategy is. It's actually an excellent strategy to make yourself a hero to a contracting officer. But in this case, the goal is for you to find an approved source that can provide the exact part. That would be a distributor, a reseller, or maybe you could look up and work with the manufacturer, although that is not always your first case. Approved source suppliers are not always approved sources. What do I mean by that? Well, sometimes they're just another contractor like you. They can't get you the product. They are just bidding against you. It looks like they're an approved source because the system says that they are. That means that approved source, which is also a contractor like you, has recently won the award. So their name shows up as the approved source. Your name will show up when you win contracts as well. Either way, do not contact these listed approved sources until you understand who they are. Are they a contractor bidding against you? Are they the manufacturer also bidding against you? Or are they a reseller that happens to be also a contractor? Stay away from difficult suppliers. If you get a bad vibe about a supplier, Please don't act like it's the end of the world. Just politely get out of the conversation and move on. If you get the impression that they do not want to work with you or do business with you, move on, and I will tell you why. DLA approved source do's and don'ts. Number one, never let a supplier discourage you, even if they are a true approved source. Number two, never try to force a supplier to work with you. Be confident, trust your instincts. Number three, never work with an uncommitted supplier. What do I mean by that? A supplier that sounds iffy, a supplier that is reluctant to give you a price, a supplier that is asking you 1,000 questions that are not relevant because they're probably up to something else, not to mention you could be set up to lose a contract. You secure a price quote from this uncommitted supplier. You bid on the contract, you win the contract, everything seems great. You contact the supplier to make sure that they have the product in inventory and they back out on you. This is why you need to be confident and trust your instinct. There will always be another supplier that you can work with. Don't think scarcity. You may need to walk away for a moment, but do not act as though you are desperate to work with a supplier. Number four, know the difference between a direct manufacturer, a distributor, or a reseller. I just explained that to you just a few minutes ago. Number five, know your pricing requirements before you speak with the supplier, meaning write down the number, including your markup that you would like to submit as a bid. Know how much profit you would like to make. Some of the suppliers, the really good ones that want to work with you, will ask you, what is your number? Remember, your goal is to choose the right approved source to become a partner with you so that you can win as many DLA contracts as possible. Now, my DLA approved source vetting strategy is the following. Number one, always vet the DLA approved sources listed, always, unless you've already vetted them. Now, when you become more experienced under an FSC category, you will begin to learn who these sources are. I can look at a contract. I don't know all of the FSC categories, but I know a lot of them, and I know who's who because we do a lot of research for our clients. We want to understand the DLA market. This is how you develop intelligence as it relates to the market and who the sources are. So in the beginning, it might seem like you take a few extra steps, but in the end, you will develop very solid supplier relationships. Number two, this strategy will help you to identify the market contractors labeled as approved sources. The ones that are not winning, those will be possible approved sources that you can work with. Number three, red flags. Your goal is to make sure you're not contacting suppliers that are bidding against you. And let me just interject this side note. Let's say you find an approved source, you look them up, you do your vetting, but you find out that they are not bidding on the same items that you're bidding on. I say walk away, still don't work with them because you don't know who they are. You don't know that if you just awakened them and told them about a new market that they have not pursued thus far. You don't want to, in the beginning, work with approved sources that look like they could supply the product, but maybe they're also bidding in the DLA space. Don't do it. Walk away. Only contact approved sources that are not involved with DLA and winning contracts. Now, I will demonstrate for you exactly how I teach my DLA proteges to choose the right approved source suppliers to win DLA product contracts consistently. Come to DIBS. As you can see the URL, just type in dibs.bsm.dla.mil. You will click on the FSC category. You will choose a code that you're interested in. In my case, it's 5935. I will choose a product that I'm interested in. As we can see, there are 1,803 of these items sitting out here waiting for someone to win these contracts. I already chose a product that I really like. I took a look and I decided that I would choose this one, a receptacle connector. I want to find an approved source to help me win 62 units that I can sell to DLA. So I will click on the link here. This is the NSN, and this NSN brings me to 3 approved sources. They're all different. What's the process going forward? Well, I took the liberty of opening up other windows to save time. You should do this as well. Always have at least 2 windows open because you need to do your vetting. What am I going to do first? Well, the first thing I will do is look at cage code number 81413. And the part number I'm not too concerned with right now. I will be later. But the name of the company is Base Systems. I happen to know that Base Systems is one of the largest government contractors in the federal government. So it's not likely that I'm going to have success with this company, but I need to prove it. I will copy this cage code, take it over here to the other page to check the awards. Click on the awards tab right here. See my hand. I will go to ensure that I have awardee cage. I am checking to make sure that Bay Systems is a winner of DLA contracts or a non-winner of DLA contracts. Look at that. Bay Systems definitely wins a lot of contracts. That tells me right there, I need to go no further. Remember what I said. It doesn't matter if they're not looking at the same opportunities that you're looking at because they're focused on 59.95. That doesn't matter. You are focused in an area that you could actually disrupt what they're doing. And they may not want you in their space. You also don't want to awaken them. Now let's do the next one. I'll leave that as it is, and we will copy 19637, and that company is called Vishay Dale Electronics. So I will copy that, come over here to awards, click on awards again. I will click on awardee cage, put in their cage code and hit submit. Now it says no awards on file. That is still not safe. You need to be careful. Just because it says no awards on file does not mean that you don't need to check them out. You can, however, go to step 2 to put their name, the name of their company into Google. What's the name of the company? And check them out to find out who they are. You could also go to cage code, DLA cage code, to look up their cage code to see exactly what type of company they are. Are they a manufacturer? Are they a regular contractor? We won't do that until we do this 3rd check on this cage code. Now, look at this. This cage code does not have a name next to it. That is because many of us, many contractors do not want to receive calls, or they do not want companies or businesses to know who they are. They prefer to stay private, but they still have to list their cage code. So I will copy this cage code, check to see if they have awards, just like I did with the other 2. I clicked on awards. I clicked on awardee cage, place the cage code inside the box. I'm hitting submit, and it says they have no awards on file. Okay, now let's do this. We don't have a name for them, but they may be a possibility because they don't have their name there. Sometimes that's a clue. Not all the time, but sometimes you can tell if their name is not in the system, they may not be competing in this space. Let's go over here to DLA cage code right here. How to get a DLA cage code. We can go here, look up this company. You have to agree to the terms. I will put in that same cage code here and see if DLA will tell me the name of the company. And then I'll take you to step 3. The name of the company is Winchester Interconnect. Now, are they a manufacturer? That's important to me. I need to know if they're a manufacturer, they're a distributor. I'm not sure. We at least know the name of the company. Well, they are a U.S. manufacturer. This could be a very good thing for you. It does look like their cage code expired, but guess what? That does not mean that they cannot still sell that product. I should say that again, they can sell that product. Just because their cage code is not in there does not mean that that product is not still in the system. And we don't know why it's not showing a SAM expiration date, but we could try it. Now, if you go to bid on this contract after you find out if you can work with them, you would ask the contracting officer the status of working with this particular company. But I moving on, I will move on to step three. What is step three? Now that I know who this company is, all I'm going to do is go over here to Google, put in the company name to look up their website and find out what this company does. All I do is put in their legal company name in Google, look for the website, which I've already done, find the website, click on the website address to find out how they do business. Look at there. I could request a quote if I wanted to. Now, they might require you to be a distributor or send you to a distributor, but we just found an approved source that will not compete against you and will likely give you some direction to find the product. You could even search the product in most cases, or you could speak with someone at the facility or the organization. That is how you find an approved source.